Hello and welcome back to my channel. Game week 21 is finally over. It's felt like the longest game week in the world. We are now on our way to game week 22, finally. In this video, I will be talking about how my team got on, my current rank, players that were on my watch list, and of course my team selection for the upcoming game week. So let's get straight into it. I have reviewed my game in a video earlier this week. If you've missed that, make sure you have subscribed to the channel and your notifications are on so you don't miss any exciting content over on the channel. But I will just do a very brief overview of how my team got on. So I got 63 points this game week. Luckily, it was a green arrow. When I saw Gabrielle's haul and Josh's haul, I thought I was going to be completely out of it. But Darwin, surprisingly, saved my game week. And Palmer, we've got a few credits to give out today. But my overall rank at the moment is 445,000. Frustratingly, I keep on going between 400 and 600k, so I need to make some serious movements, some big green arrows in the next couple of game weeks. Ideally, I want to end in the top 100k this season, so we're close enough, but so close yet so far. It's a tough one, but I've got one free transfer and 0.6 million in the bank, so plenty of room for manoeuvre. We can make some improvements to this team. I'll start off in goal, very briefly, Areola. He matched Dubravka's points, so I won't dwell on it too much. 3 points from both keepers. Went for Areola in this game week. Fine, no complaints. And then the defence. Trent, unfortunately, was not fit enough to play, so I got Trippier's 1 point off the bench. And then Saliba and Estupiñán, they are making my defence look a lot healthier because I've had recent game weeks where it has not looked strong at all. They both kept clean sheets, and Estupiñán also got 2 bonus points. I am so happy he is back and he's fit and he is ready to go. He was my favourite transfer in, I think, in recent game weeks. And my transfers in this season have not been very good. I've stopped looking at the stats of how many points I've sort of missed out on because of my transfers. But Estupiñán is a good one, and I would quite like to bring in a Brighton attacker. So if you have any suggestions, let me know in the comments. Then my midfield, Richarlison, he got 1 goal and 1 bonus point, so I got 8 in total. Gordon is just golden boy in my team. He got a goal against City, 7 points. I'm really happy with him. He's one of those transfers in that just keeps ticking along. And for the home fixtures, he is a whole other player. You can basically guarantee that he's going to get an attacking return. So I'm really happy with that transfer. And for now, he is very much nailed into my team. And I'm feeling quite optimistic about his future as well, seeing as Newcastle are now out of Europe. Hopefully they can put full focus into their Premier League fixtures and Gordon will just continue to thrive. In less exciting news, Saka, 3 points, and I captained him, so I got 6. But it's really frustrating, and what's even more annoying is now they have decided that that was an assist from Saka, but FPL Towers have said the game week's over, so we can't get the points. At least I'm not the only one. I know many managers captained him, over 1 million, I think it was. So I'm not alone in this, but really irritating. In what world, if I'd have known that Arsenal were going to win 5-0, there is no way I wouldn't have put the captaincy on Saka. So I think he did just get really unlucky with that one. And then, talking of luck, Palmer got another penalty. That boy this season, he's just picking them up like no tomorrow. But he got 10 points for me this game week. Irritatingly, I was planning to captain Palmer, and then I looked at the team's defensive data or the opposing team's defensive data, and Saka just edged it for me because Palace's defensive data was so poor. And obviously they were poor because they lost 5-0. But Saka just got really unfortunate. We won't dwell. That's it. I'm not going to say any more about it now, ever again. But I've got it out of my system. And then the front three, Solanke unfortunately blanked. Watkins blanked even worse. He only got 1 point. And then Darwin, we got a haul. He got 2 goals. He did get booked as well. But he also picked up 2 bonus points. So you get 11 points. I'm really pleased that I remained patient with Darwin. I was tempted to transfer him out numerous times in the last couple of game weeks, but there have been other fires to put out in the team. So I thought I won't take a hit. I'll keep him. Hopefully he will come to some sort of good. And he has. And with Salah out now as well, I don't know whether Darwin's going to increase in confidence, hopefully keep converting those goals and just become a little FPL, I don't know. I was going to say demon, but that sounds too negative. Just something lovely for my team and keep helping me to get green arrows. And then in terms of the bench, there's not too much to touch on. Obviously, I said Trippier came in for Trent. Pinnock, Brentford defensively, it's a struggle. I don't see myself playing him anytime soon unless I have to. And then Salah obviously is injured. Dun. We will get to that shortly. But yeah, that's the team. So we will now discuss my watch list. I feel like it's only fair to hold myself accountable and discuss players that I suggested for game week 21 in my watch list. So we're going to start off with Elanga. That was terrible because he was injured, didn't play any minutes whatsoever. So he got absolutely nothing. And then we've had Bowen. It was very much will he, won't he. We weren't sure whether he was going to start. People transferred him out, then had to take hits to bring him back in. Unfortunately, he blanked against Sheffield United. It was a 2-2 draw and Bowen had no involvement whatsoever. But I do still have faith in him to warm up. He's a really good asset to have. If I'm wildcarding, there's a high chance that I might actually bring him in. It'll be really interesting to see how he gets on this week. Obviously, they are playing against Bournemouth, but then they go on to slightly tougher fixtures. They've got Man United and then they've got Arsenal. So I think this is one to watch. He had 11 goals and 2 assists this season before going off, so he just needs to get back into the rhythm of things. So this is a watch list for not just that week, next couple. I'll recap this again. And then Tony, he scored on his return against Forest and he also got 3 bonus points, so he got 8 points in total. I'll take that one as a win. I did say when I discussed these, I wasn't off to the best start because I thought 2 were injured, but they were just too good to discuss, too good to not discuss. But this game week, we are going for slightly more useful short-term watch list options. And we are starting off with James Maddison. It looks very likely to play against Brentford, seeing as he made an appearance off the bench in the FA Cup fixture against Man City. He hasn't played since game week 11, but he was such a consistent player. He was in my team, and then I think I did, once he got injured in game week 11, I think I then did Maddison to Richarlison because I wanted to do that sideways Spurs swap and I couldn't quite afford Son. But he had 3 goals and 6 assists before being out with an injury. If I didn't have Richarlison, I think I would eye up Maddison. And in terms of Maddison versus Richarlison now, I think Maddison's a much better long-term pick. But I am where I am. So have this as my advice. I suggest Maddison. I personally can't go there, but there's no reason why you shouldn't. And then next up, we have got Jota, another one I would absolutely love to bring in, but I've already got Trent and I've got Darwin. Liverpool also blank in game week 26, and I'm not really sure about Jota's position when Salah returns, whenever that is. But I think bringing in a blank game week player is probably not the safest or smartest route to go down when I've already got 2 blanking in game week 26, plus the rest of my team. But we'll just discuss Liverpool for now. But Jota has been really, really consistent. He's produced attacking returns in the past 3 games. The latest game against Bournemouth saw him get that huge 19-point haul, which I was so jealous about, thanks to 2 goals and 1 assist, a clean sheet and 3 bonus points, of course. The upcoming fixture against Chelsea as well is probably a really nice one to bring Jota in, as much as that pains me to say. Chelsea's defensive record away from home is a very nice opportunity for Jota to take full advantage and continue his current streak. In the past 7 away matches, Chelsea haven't kept a single clean sheet. So that's going to be a really fun one for me to watch. And then we have got Isak. Oh, the rotation with him and Wilson has just, I think, put so many managers off of him. But I really, really like him as an asset and I'll be keeping an eye on him. If I didn't have Gordon, I think I would want that Newcastle attacker and it probably would be a punt on Isak. His stats are really impressive and he's converted 27% of his shots. Newcastle are known to be so much stronger at St James's Park. Just look at Gordon's home record versus away record. In fact, I think we'll get to that when we discuss my team selection because the stats speak for themselves. It is the craziest difference. But Isak's a really promising asset as he scored 4 of his 10 goals away from home. So it seems like he's kind of fixture-proof whether he's home or away. It's really, like I said, it's really frustrating that he does have that rotation with Wilson, but maybe he might become a bit more nailed in coming game weeks. But I think he's a really fun punt, and even if he comes off the bench, there's a very high chance that he's going to score. He just comes on and changes the pace of the game. And I think last season as well, he was one that I kept on wanting to bring into my team, and then if I did bring him in, he was not playing. It's a headache, to be honest, but these are the 3 that I think are the most exciting. And I tried to go for ones, I mean, Jota is very, very obvious, and then Maddison returning from injury. But try to go for like a little bit more outside. And in one of my previous videos, which I'll link below, I did also discuss my favourite Man City assets. So you can go check that out. Otherwise, De Bruyne would absolutely be here in the watch list. But I'm a bit resentful because as we will get to my team selection, I can't afford him, which is very disappointing. So that actually takes us very nicely into the team selection part of this video. Now, this is how the team is lined up for the current game week. If I move my window here, oh goodness, I've minimised things. This feels like a live stream. I forget that I can edit this out, but I won't. So I've currently got Areola in goal, but I am half tempted because I haven't got... Trippier is also, his stats were showing, he is quite good away from home. So I don't know whether to play Trippier, but then in my defence, I really like Saliba for the Forest away fixture. Estupinian again, there is no way I can bench him ahead of Luton away. And then Trent, he's so attacking. Hopefully he's back fit. And I think there is a high chance he's going to play this week against Chelsea. And he'll want to return with a bang. So I'm really happy with this front three. I am losing that Newcastle coverage, but their defensive data hasn't been the best. But I could potentially play Dubravka over Areola, and I think because I've got Solanke, there's part of me that's a bit like, I don't feel fully confident playing Areola anyway, because I'm really hoping for Solanke to score. So that's the first dilemma of the team. Then we've got the midfield, which I'm largely happy with. I keep on changing my captaincy to Richarlison, and for some reason it keeps going back to Saka. Whether or not that is foreshadowing something that I should be doing, I don't know. And then the front three, again, I'm quite happy with. Bench, feel a bit uneasy about benching Trippier, but it's not really the end of the world. Now, there are rumours that our favourite FPL asset, Haaland, is back. He's back in full team training. He wasn't in the squad for the game against Spurs, but I feel like he could come on for a bit against Burnley. Pep said, the ever-enlightening, classic Pep said, we'll give him 3 or 4 days and hopefully he can play against Burnley and he can play his first minutes. We'll see. Now, that to me screams that he won't necessarily start, but he will come on for a cameo. It's Man City, it's Burnley at home. Are we going to have Haaland come off the bench for 30 minutes and just have an absolute screamer and get a hat-trick? That's what I'm frightened of. So I'm very much keeping Haaland in mind. Whether I bring him in this week, it will have to be for a hit, or I will try and be patient and bring him in next game week instead. But I'm a little bit nervous about missing out on those points. There is a route that I can take to bring Haaland back, and that is, my friends, that involves taking out Salah. Now, Egypt are out of AFCON, so Salah is now back. He can focus on looking after his hamstrings, getting them healed, and then returning to the Premier League. His recovery time is looking to be about 3 to 4 weeks. So there is a chance he might be back for the double game week 25, but that is, I don't know if that's too optimistic. And also, I do wonder, if he is back, say the hamstrings are healed, he's good to go, is he really going to play, A, the full 90 on his return, and B, back-to-back games in a double game week? I don't know. And I was really relying on him to be my triple captain in game week 25, but unfortunately, I don't think that's going to be happening. I'm very nervous, but it's too much money to keep on my bench. And whilst I was playing it safe, that was more because I thought he was going to be back a lot sooner. And now he's got the injury. It seems a little bit too risky. So I really need to bring in some City assets. And I've discussed this as well in a previous video, but I think I'm going to go for Bernardo Silva. Ideally, this would be Foden. Unfortunately, I can't afford him and then have an easy route back to Haaland. So I think Bernardo Silva is a good one to go for. He's only 6.5 million, which is a lot cheaper than Foden's 8 million. He's got a really good output considering his price. He's had 6 goals and 4 assists already. He's averaging 5.2 points per match. I'm a bit too scared to go into a Burnley home fixture without a City asset. So there is a high chance I may even put the captaincy on Bernardo Silva, but I don't know. That's another. We'll get to captaincy in this. Guys, honestly, there is so much to discuss, but we will get to captaincy. But I do also want to prepare for the double game week in 25, where City will be playing Chelsea and Brentford at home. I'm slightly nervous about not having Foden, and especially when he's got a really, really good home record. I think this game has a Foden hat-trick written all over it, which makes me very anxious. So I need to get some sort of City attacker in the hope that I will get some assists or some goals. But I think Bernardo is just a really fun pick. And at his ownership, which is, I've just minimised my screen again, his ownership currently is only 5.7%. That excites me, whereas Foden's is a lot higher. So maybe I just need to back Bernardo Silva, go there, and then it gives me quite a nice route back to Haaland. If I have a look, he is 13.9. So at the moment, this surprises me, but I'm leaning towards taking out Watkins, and then I can bring in Haaland and I'll still have 1.7 million remaining in the bank. This is kind of, I'm not 100% there yet. We're going to have some really, really firm knowledge and wisdom that Haaland is going to start starting games, because whilst he is such an incredible asset, 13.9 million is a lot of money to pay for a player that won't necessarily play for, I don't know, more than 30 minutes. So we need to assess. I think he hasn't played a game since the beginning of December, which is such a long time to be out for. Of course, I think I need to touch on the idea of bringing back De Bruyne, and I spoke myself into doing it earlier this week, and now I've kind of chickened out a bit. Because 10.6 million, that only leaves me with 2.8 remaining in the bank. In order to get Haaland back, I'm going to have to really kind of rip up my defence, take out my forwards. I think it's going to be a lot more of a laborious route. And 10.5 million is also quite a lot of money for uncertainty. We're still not sure about his fitness, not sure about his minutes. He did make a cameo off the bench and scored 12 points against Newcastle in the latest game week. So he might also be on track to start versus Burnley, in which case I will be hiding behind the sofa because I'm scared of Foden, but the fear I have of De Bruyne is too much. And his ownership has absolutely flown up, 21.5%. I'm so nervous, I'm going to be sick. But yeah, I would really like to bring De Bruyne in, but again, it's a lot of money for uncertainty. So I think for now, I'm going to be going for Bernardo Silva. But then, my friends, this leaves me with such a benching headache, and I don't know who to go for. So if we, hypothetically, I'm not going to make my transfers now because I need to have a panic-induced transfer. But say for now, Salah is Bernardo Silva. Who on earth do I bench out of my starting 11? I'm happy with the defence and obviously need this bit's basically sorted. It comes down to these 7. And look, the blooming captaincy has gone off again. I need to save my team. Right, save your team. This is where I've been going wrong. I always use the app. So this is how the team is looking at the moment. I think my first instinct is probably to bench Gordon. I've said before, Gordon doesn't have the best stats away from home. He is an amazing asset at home. He's only blanked once in 11 home appearances and he's picked up 6 goals and 5 assists in that time. Away from home, not so explosive. He's only had 1 goal and 2 assists in 9 appearances, I think it is this season. So I think I've got quite a good case for benching Gordon. Obviously, I will put him over Pinnock. But then I don't like the idea of benching Trippier and Gordon. I don't know what it is. It's just having both of those assets. I did say I could play Dubravka over Areola. So then I have got some Newcastle defence. But really, I have Trippier there for the attacking returns. Not that he's had many in recent game weeks. But this bench does make me uneasy. And Gordon is one of my favourite players. So I'm not feeling 100% confident about that. But elsewhere, I don't know who else I would bench. Palmer just seems to find a way to get a penalty. Saka was really, really good last game week, even though it didn't translate into FPL terms. I think he's still worth having. He's playing the full 90. He's on penalties. His data is great. And I'm too nervous to go without him. Solanke, he's had a quiet few game weeks. If we have a look, 2 points, 2 points, 6 points, 17 points. But look at the 17-pointer. He got 3 goals that week. Unfortunately, it was when I had transferred him out. We won't dwell on that too much. But I think Solanke's got a high ceiling. And then Watkins, he's just generally quite consistent. I know he's been quite quiet recently, but they are playing against Newcastle. It's a home game. Newcastle's defensive data. Why have I got Dubravka in there? I don't know. No, I'm going to put Areola in there instead. Oh, but I want Solanke to score. The dilemmas of this team. And then Darwin, there is no way I can bench him ahead of the Chelsea fixture. We've already talked about Chelsea's defensive data. So I think this is probably what I'll have to go into the game week with. Maybe if I swap over Gordon and Trippier. But then obviously we'll just get Trippier in if Trent doesn't start. But it's so far so good. It seems okay. In terms of captaincy, I was very much set on going for Saka. No, I wasn't. That's a lie. I was very much set on going, pretend this isn't Salah. Very much set on Bernardo Silva. And especially when you consider their last 5 home results against Burnley, it was 6-0, 2-0 and 5-0 for the other 3. So my whole plan of bringing in a City attacker was so I could captain them. But I think I might be chickening out because as much as I do really, really want to captain Bernardo Silva, City have got I've said this before about teams, they've got too much talent that you don't know where the goals are going to come from. You've got Foden, Alvarez, De Bruyne back, Bernardo Silva. We've got Haaland potentially coming off the bench. It's a lot of people. So I'm not really, I don't know how confident now I'm feeling about captaining Bernardo Silva. I most likely will be bringing him in. Captaincy is still up in the air. But Richarlison, since playing up front, is on a whole other level. In the past 6 game weeks, he has been the top scoring player in FPL. He scored 6 goals in that time and picked up 49 points. He did have a fairly quiet week. When was it? Game week 19. But apart from that, we've got 15 points, 9 points, 8 points. Then the blank against Brighton, then 8 points and 8 points. Brentford, looking shaky. Pinnock's on my bench for a reason. I think Richarlison could be the one to go with. So at the moment, that's where I am. Watkins is also one to eye up because Newcastle, awful when it comes to expected goals conceded. But I think he's got too much of a low ceiling. I'd rather go for that high ceiling player. So that's where we are. And then I think vice captaincy currently is on Palmer, but that'll probably change. But Richarlison should be good to go. There's something, I think it's because we're getting towards the end of the season now. I'm getting more and more nervous with my picks, but this is what we're thinking. Obviously, I'm just going to drum it in one more time. This will not be Salah. This will be Bernardo Silva. So as always, do let me know in the comments what you think I should go for. But that is my Game Week 22 team selection. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. I will be doing some more content this week, which is exciting because we've got so many deadlines coming up. So I will have a team selection out for you, players to target, and I'll also be doing another Q&A with Ellie, hopefully on Friday. So we will see you then. Don't forget to subscribe, like the video if you enjoyed it, and whack on the notifications so you don't miss me going live, because I seem to not plan far enough in advance and people don't know that I've gone live until after it's happened. So hit the notifications if you don't want to miss that. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.